Let's do this.
Hello and welcome to Neat in the Knot of... What the hell are we calling?
Neat and Not by the Sea.
Flosstube video number 13. It is Saturday the 13th of August and we are coming to you from Port Chalmers in New Zealand. We are a little bit later than our normal 2-weekly routine. Both Catherine and I have been under the weather, so we decided to wait until we were less nasally before we put you all through.
Victoria sounds okay.
I said
still
less.
very nasal.
I said less, not 100%.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So welcome. There's another,
well-practiced intro.
Yeah, that's the one.
We actually did rehearse.
Yeah, and I still got it wrong.
And Martin's just gone out and he was like, get it wrong.
Yeah, so welcome everyone. We hope you've all had a good 2 weeks.
Two and a half.
2.5 weeks. Yeah, so we'll get back onto our normal schedule.
It's really funny because this is for fun,
Tuesday.
but I've been thinking, we haven't filmed yet. We haven't filmed yet.
Yeah.
There was no chance that we would film.
No, we were both pretty crooks. So.
I was poorly, but also I'd been to Wellington and I was exhausted. So, poorly. So,
So other than being sick for the last 2.5 weeks, what else have you been up to?
Well, I went away twice. Because I was,
twice?
we went in the motorhome with Martin to Peel Forest. Oh, so in fact, I can show the baskets because they're going to be part of my studio craft room. So we went all the way to Peel Forest, and so don't get offended. New Zealand is an utterly beautiful country. Peel Forest is not a destination. So it was beautiful, but it wasn't, say, as beautiful as the Catlins, which are closer. Yeah. So we were like,
and
we're
stunning.
going to Peel Forest. All of New Zealand is beautiful.
Ticked it off the list?
Yeah, there was no list. But big shout out to Geraldine Op Shop, Red Cross Op Shop. Amazing. I got the biggest amount of amazing books and it was
huge pile
and I don't think I spent more than $15 in all the op shops that I went to. I did go to an antique shop and that was expensive. So yes, if you're through Geraldine, it's not in the town proper, it's like a couple of blocks before. So if you're walking from outside Geraldine towards the library towards town, it's before the library.
Do you want to do a quick show of some of the books?
Oh yeah, you can bring that top one's amazing. So this top book, and all the books were labelled $2, but we were there at just before closing time and they actually charged me $1 each.
Wow.
And this book, Embellishments by someone, it's one of those compendium Murdoch books. I borrowed this from the Dunedin Public Library so many times and I have so many projects that I want to make from it. I never make them. So I've returned the book to the library. So anyway, I've got it now. I'm very excited about this book. It's very beautiful. So I'm really happy about this.
I've just grabbed about half the pile. You've also got wool embroidery.
Yes, because I have blankets cut up from various projects and I do have wool that I want to use for embroidery. So I thought that was a good one to kind of get started. There is at least one project here that I want to make. So this is an oldie by Christine Harris. But there was, in fact, it's the cover project. I probably won't do exactly this, but isn't that little bouquet spray of flowers? I don't know if you can see it properly there, but it's so beautiful. And I just want to do more embroidery in my life. I need more embroidery in my life, so that was good.
You've also bought the New Zealand Woolcraft book.
I either already have that because it's an iconic New Zealand book, or I got rid of that when I thought, I'm just not going to do blah, blah, blah as much. Turns out I do have time and I make time for it, so I will.
This book, I think, was an absolute steal. This is Womankind. This is the New Zealand women featured in these pages show that we have the power, every one of us to do a good, to make change and to be kind to womankind.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's sort of leading women in all sorts of fields. So Jacinda Ardern is in this, which is great. So I got this because I thought really inspirational for my girls and for me as well. But if you're in New Zealand, I'm not going to be able to find it now. But for example, some of the women here, there were 2 girls that's I read a little bit about them somewhere else, but I think they dropped out of school. But then I think the mother of one of them got breast cancer. So one of them decided that they were going to make a t-shirt, and they did a t-shirt with a breast embroidered and a line on the other side, and that became
quite
a
iconic,
thing.
yeah.
And then this is about what's the word? Sexual assault. People need to stop raping girls. So they came up with this t-shirt that says nope, and they have lots of elements of this. So young women, and I imagine other people, quite often have a t-shirt that says nope, and it's just, you know, lending support to women, and, you know, establishing that you need to get consent and all that sort of thing. So I mean, they're kind of both my daughter's ages, and I think it's just so impressive that they've gone across society, getting a whole range of women, and we've got women farmers, we've got designers,
fashion designers, artists,
community leaders,
politicians,
former refugees, just be good women doing good work in New Zealand.
Yeah.
My daughter also admires Chloe Zorbrick. She's a young member of parliament. So anyway, it doesn't matter what political party you're from. It's just about inspiring.
Yeah,
they've
they've
got
got
and recognizing what we have.
Yeah, because New Zealand have had 3 female prime ministers.
Have we?
Yes, and they're all in this book.
Oh, that's right. Because one
Jenny
was the
Shipley, Helen Clark,
vice
and Jacinda Ardern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So $1. Can I just? And this is not even old.
This
I
is
was
a
so
new book.
impressed.
This I reckon is in the last 3 years.
Yes. Oh, and they've got my own personal favourite, Selina Tusitalan-Marsh. She's a New Zealand poet. She's she's got lots of family backgrounds, but you know she's partly Samoan, or she's a New Zealander. She did a poem for the Queen's Jubilee, which was great, which was about the Commonwealth, and it was great. Google Selina Tusitala-Marsh. Fantastic. So yay. Yeah.
Right, and so this is only and this is, how do you pronounce it? Aaron?
Aaron, yeah.
Aaron and Fair Isle Knitting.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of those knitting traditions. Yeah. And this is some of the oldies. If you can get past the kind of old-fashioned look of the book, they're great. And there's
there's a whole pile more. I'm not picking them all up.
No, I'm just thinking about where...
We're 7 minutes in and we've just looked at you shopping. Show your baskets.
Whilst we're doing shopping...
So we're doing here, yeah.
My husband was so patient. So one of the things here, I don't know if this is just a New Zealand thing or in other countries, but they used to have these, they used to weave these, and people used to, so I've got a bigger one than this, that was described to me as a Moses basket. So it was
usually the Moses baskets have handles, don't they?
Now they do. I don't know if they did back in the day. But anyway, so it's a woven style basket. I don't know what the reeds are, what the material is. These have leather corners, not that one, clearly. But you know I don't like perfection. Anyway, I came across in that amazing antique shop in Oamaru
called Arthur's,
and they had a nesting set. Can I just say, it was amazing, and they gave me a discount, which was great. Anyway, this is going to be great because when we move to our new little house, I am going to have a studio.
So jealous.
Yes, and these are so beautiful. And you see them in auctions. Sometimes you buy a mixed lot and it will come in one of these, but they're normally quite damaged.
These are all in beautiful nick.
I also love. So my other one is quite damaged, but yay for damage. I quite like it. They do need a clean. I'm not going to hide them now because I do need to clean them. So anyway, they were quite a bargain.
Yeah.
Not super cheap. This was not an op shop. This was an antique shop. But I thought it was a bargain.
So that was your first trip?
So that was my first trip. And my second trip was... I've lost my phone again. My second trip was... we went to Wellington because my baby turned 21. She's not a baby, she's 21. So Sophia lives in Wellington. She's studying law at Victoria. And she's amazing. And I'm very proud of her. And I was just so pleased that she invited us. Because, you know, she's 21. I mean, who wants a mum there?
Yeah.
But she invited... Christina, Martin and I to go up to her party. She did a party thing like some young people like to. And I bought a dress and it was all very fancy and my phone's making noises. And in fact, you talk because I can now show you the present that I've been working on for 6 months.
Oh, have you got photos?
I have one photo, I think. It was so lovely. So, shall I skip to shout-outs because that's kind of part of it?
May as well.
So I went to a lovely shop. So, sorry, 10 minutes in. There's this lovely shop in Wellington called Minerva. It's a bookshop for crafts. So it's all craft books. Now they've expanded a little bit, as people do, to try and kind of make more profit, I suppose. But it's a lovely shop. It's such a treat. Anyway, when I took Sophia up to Wellington when she started university, I am a crier. I am a crier. And Sophia said, please don't cry in front of me. I'm a crier / Peruvian mom. So I was like, sweetie, I'm not going to cry. I'm so happy for you. This is great. You're going to university. It's fantastic. Anyway, I said goodbye. I turned around and I sobbed all the way down the street. And I thought, I'm going to go to Minerva because my baby's going to university. And I went to Minerva bookshop and I bought 4 books because that's what you do when your baby goes to university in a different city. So anyway, go to Minerva if you're having a bad day and you need a treat. So anyway, I was a bit poorly. So I treated myself to a book at Minerva. Yes. Go there. It's on Cuba Street and it is really wonderful. Because sometimes you want to order something from abroad and the postage is so expensive. So I bought a book. It turns out I already have it. I'm the best. But it's from something. It's a Canadian company that does these compendiums. So they've done one called Stitch Ilo. Anyway, I bought the quilting one. I already had it. I realized after I messaged someone saying, oh my God, I love this. Anyway, they were super lovely and they're going to swap it for the one that's ceramics.
So you have a new book come on your way.
So I think they're used to 49-year-old middle-aged women, don't forget. So we're going to do our swapsies, it's fine. So anyway, shout out to that shop because it's really lovely. Even if you're not going to buy anything, just go and be inspired by hundreds of books that they have all around crafts. So that was my shout out to Minerva.
Excellent.
And we had a lovely time. And I made this for my baby. So I've been doing jewellery for about 1.5 years. So I made her a set. And it sounds kind of fancy. And Sophia in the future, when you finally get around to watching these, turns out that buying pearls and sapphires is not that expensive. So there was a lot of love in this set, but it wasn't that expensive. But it did take me maybe 20 hours to make, maybe 22.
It's stunning. I saw it in real life and it's gorgeous.
So it's hammered silver, a little rectangular sapphire, same design for the earrings as well. So it's two earrings, 2 dangly earrings and a pendant. And it's not part of my culture to give anybody a key when they turn 21. No. But we have an old-fashioned key. And so I was kind of trying to meet Sophia halfway because she told me that some of her friends, her parents had given them like, those big keys and that's not me. So I made her a little silver key that looks like our key. Nice. I think she was unimpressed. But when I'm no longer around, my baby will treasure her set. And shout out to John Z. Robinson, who's been teaching me jewellery. He's an amazing New Zealand jeweller and painter. Yeah. And I've learned so much from him, even though he's a perfectionist, and I am not. So I'll stop talking now. Yeah.
Excellent.
So great.
Well, I've had a very uneventful 2.5 weeks. I was ill, so I was at home for most of the time doing some stitching. But the most exciting thing that happened to me is that for work I went and spent a night at Oamaru, which is a ski lodge in the middle of the South Island. I don't know where it is.
Isn't it near Twizel?
Yeah, and Mount Cook, if you know where Mount Cook is.
All those people that don't live in New Zealand.
Yeah. I was going to have a map and show you, but I forgot about that.
Oamaru means
windy.
Lake of the Wind or something like that. It's super windy.
It was super windy. The ski fields
hills.
were closed, so there was no skiing got done. But I have got a very small, quick video, which I'll put at the end, which is me basically standing outside my room, just panning across to the mountains.
Beautiful.
Which was lovely. So if you stay on to the end, you can enjoy that.
Yes, and when there is no COVID pandemic, all our friends that watch us from abroad, do come to New Zealand and
Yeah.
spend your dollars here.
Yeah.
And go skiing to Oamaru.
Yeah, it was beautiful. The lodge accommodations were lovely, so...
It was a corporate trip, so
It was a corporate trip, so it was a late night.
there was no scabby
No.
shed that you stayed at.
No, it was great, and the food was great.
Nice. Very
Excellent.
nice.
So should we get into it?
Well, I was just going to say that the best thing about what you told me about the whole trip, it was like, Victoria said, it would be a really nice place to go stitching.
Oh yeah, like if there's no skiing people or drinking heavily
If you have
people.
to follow a skier to these
Yep.
places.
Beautiful place to sit, beautiful place to sew. Would have been great. I did take my stitching, but I didn't get any done. So we ended up going to look at some properties out in Twice also.
So Victoria's a drafts person.
Yeah.
So
I work for an architecture firm.
yeah, so looking at
Looking
property
at sites
is
and
kind of
things
like work related. It's not just
Yeah.
like, ooh, let's have a look at the big mansions.
Yeah. No, this was a very windy place, and they had big containers, and they were all strapped down to the ground. So
Oh, really?
yeah, big winds down there.
Go to Oamaru. It's beautiful. Don't be offended twice all, but Oamaru, beautiful.
All right.
Sorry.
Do you have any fully finished objects, Catherine? We're
Can
going
they
to move
tell?
on. Look at this. It's 2:45 and we haven't shown any stitching.
But this is just a sign that I've
quarter
missed
past.
you.
Yes, Catherine and we got in the car this morning because we've, can I say what we've been doing?
Yeah.
We went up to Catherine's little house this morning. I gave her a hand to just do some finishing things. We did some
She
painting.
came and saved me because I'm pathetic. I can't paint on my own. I didn't paint.
And I got in the car and Catherine and I looked at each other and sort of went, oh, we missed you so much. And we said we haven't seen each other in 2 weeks
Sorry.
in real life, which is quite a long time for
I
us.
know.
So we've had lots of chat today.
I was just going to tell you something about my stats for email.
Go on, tell me.
No, I won't. No.
Yeah, no, we do work at work.
Yes. Oh, so at the end I want to talk about quilting, but that's for the end.
That's for
So,
the end. Yep.
FFOs.
FFOs.
Who has an FFO? No, an FO. Who has a finished object?
No, we'll start with the ones that neither of us have.
Oh.
Neither of us have FFOs this week. So
No fully finished objects. I do have a fully finished object, actually. I'm going to talk about it now.
But it's in your others.
No, because this is totally
Oh.
cross-stitch related. You cannot follow it.
Fine. You were just
I made
exceeding
a thing.
expectations.
I made a thing.
She made a wonderful thing and she's going to show me how to
Okay,
make
so this
one.
comes with a story. 17 minutes 24. So I know that everybody watches Ellen from Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour.
Because she's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. I love Ellen. She's so funny and great.
Yeah.
Serious too. And she got a gift from her friend. And of course, who doesn't love willow pattern?
Oh,
So she got this amazing willow pattern project bag, but her friend, I think it was her friend Ryan, he had doctored it so that it was like a ridiculous. It had dragons and monsters, and it's just
Cool.
so great. I don't have a Ryan, but
you've got a Tory and she's all emotional.
she's
support.
not making me project bags.
No,
That's
she's not.
for sure. Anyway, so I went op shopping with Max, who has watched one of my Flosstubes now.
Hello, Max.
He's come to the dark side. So we went to an op shop. We looked everywhere. There was just nothing. You know, sometimes there's nothing in the op shop. There's like 8 billion things and nothing for you. And then I looked under a table and they had this amazing willow pattern tablecloth. Oh, that way. Which, of course, I love. I've got a few willow pattern bits and bobs in my kitchen. It was so beautiful. I'll open it when I show it. Anyway, I made tell me the name again.
Oh, it's a organiser, storage.
Organizer roll situation thing. And of course, me being sentimental, this was the ribbon that tied one of Sophia's gifts, because we gave her a few gifts. And one was wrapped in a shop. Look, I'm talking. One was wrapped very professionally in a shop with this beautiful ribbon. So Sophia opened her present and was like, ribbon. And I said, oh, I'll do something with it. So now I've got my baby, my 21st. Anyway.
So the idea behind this is because we take so long to do, we don't take so long, because it takes quite some time to do
Shady.
cross stitch. Well, you know, you're working
I'm
on it and then you
kidding.
fold it at the end of the day and you open it up and you fold it. So
And you always
eventually-
fold it in the same
in
bit.
the same place.
Yeah.
So eventually you get like this built-in crease in your cross stitching.
Yeah.
So where did you come across this idea?
Oh, I think I've known from always, from like when
Yeah.
I was 20, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it kind of came back up to my
Yeah.
consciousness. Partly because I was
Spoiler
doing...
alert, I'm going to pull this one out because
Oh,
that comes next.
Spoiler. Let's not. So you can keep more than one project in these.
Yeah.
So the project my first one, because I've actually realised I've got 3 to store here, it's going to take me at least a year. And I'm not rushing it. So, and I was really aware that I was folding it in the same place the whole time. So I thought, right, I'll make one of these. And then I couldn't figure out what it was called. Because if you Google cross-stitch roll or embroidery roll, it does not come up. So I emailed Victoria at work. And I was like, what would you call it? And she found it like that.
Yep.
She was super focused on work that second.
I'm good at the Google.
I'm the librarian here. I should have. Yeah, anyway, so she got it, and straight away I found it, and we both found a tutorial by Twisted Sisters.
Twisted on YouTube.
On YouTube. Yeah. I watched a couple, and they were quilted, and I wasn't interested in quilting. I don't think it's necessary.
So use the tutorial as inspiration rather more than in rules to follow.
But also, you might be interested, because I also looked up the price of these online. And not within my budget or what I'm prepared to pay. So it was like $130. So mine cost me $2 for the tablecloth, and really less because I'm giving Victoria
I got the
a bit
offcuts.
of it, so that she can use it for a project bag, because we both love this fabric. I did buy a leftover of wrapping paper in the op shop for 50 cents, so $2.50.
And ribbon from the shop that free gift ribbon.
And that was 40% discount for that gift.
Wow.
You're welcome, Sophie.
Can you completely unroll it and show
I'm going to
them?
completely unroll it. So I did my usual of really not measuring. Does she be right?
Well, I think it's turned out perfectly.
Is it going to fall out?
I've got it. Yep,
Okay.
I've picked it up.
So, and major achievement, no glue, no splay glue, no hot glue, no nothing. It's all stitching.
Yep.
So I even saved the leftovers, because can you see the join? There's a join there, because it was such precious fabric and the most beautiful faded blue. So it's just lots of sewing of the circle to this. More sewing. See, I didn't quite sew it. You can see a bit of the white. Sewed it here. And then there is where they join this side to that side. Don't look at the underside. But they're joined on this side with tiny
Texture.
little minute stitches. And I hand stitched a hem all around.
So this is the roll that's in it, or a version of it. It's just a cardboard roll from the middle of some wrapping paper.
Oh, look at the gorgeousness.
It's stunning.
It is so beautiful. I am so happy. Anyway, the thing, I don't know what makes me happiest, sorry, that I have one so that I can use it, or that I paid $2.50 for it.
Oh, yeah,
It's evenly matched.
you were brilliant.
So yeah, I'm very happy. And this will be super useful.
Yeah.
Not just for cross stitch, but I'm hoping to do more other embroidery as well. And so you can keep things here. So my heart is joyful.
So then you just roll it in. Yeah, and that's great.
And I did it.
And I would say it's not hugely portable as in to put in your bag while you go on the train. But to go between my house and your house and, you know,
There
in
was
the
no
camper
train.
van.
There's no train from Dunedin to
There's no
anywhere.
train. I know, but I'm just pretending we're more more sophisticated down here than we actually are. But, you know, I wouldn't take it on the bus to be stitching on.
No.
But
And it took me 2 hours, I reckon, from start to finish. So if you do have 2 spare, I was poorly. So the idea of hand stitching for 2 hours, slowly, was perfection. Because I was still... It was calm, it was quiet, it was just lovely.
it's beautiful. You've done a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to go dig through my fabric pile and see what I'm going to make one of
And
mine.
I found, so Victoria
And
now
she's
has
found me a roll.
I found her a roll. So I encourage it. So if you decide to do one of these, leave a message and a comment and let us know.
Yeah.
It'd be great. It would be great. So, yay.
I think that's brilliant.
So that was my FFO. Thank you very much.
All right. So then you can just show off next and show your finished object. I haven't got a finished object.
My finished object. So this is, and I don't have my card.
You
You've
gave
got the
it
card
to
now because
me.
I've given Victoria the pattern.
It's great. Okay.
Victoria gets my patterns.
Which
When-
I'm super
when it's,
excited.
A proper pattern.
Yeah. So we're not quite sure what the etiquette is for this. So if we've paid for the pattern in terms of we've gone to it's a physical
shop.
thing,
Yeah.
then I think we're okay to gift it to someone.
Yeah, everybody seems to gift actual physical patterns, so...
But if it's a PDF, then I think it's a one-use thing and you dispose of it. But
I mean, in theory it should be the same, but
we're not quite sure what the etiquette is, so if you've got any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I only have physical patterns at the moment, and I'm very comfortable giving this to Victoria. Especially since she lives around the corner. Victoria changed my mind.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so this is Miss Bingley's Library by Plum Street Samplery with many adaptations.
Yeah, so shall I show the image?
How it should look.
This is what the artist intended it to look like. The original. I don't know, because you're an art, I don't quite know what that terminology is, but you know, this is the suggested.
Yes. On to the other one.
Onto the kitchen. Oh, I like your one. I think it's great.
I love how this is like an excuse to have lots of conversations. So this is my finished.
Da, 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 da.
Okay, so the things have changed. Everything. And
Sorry, don't make me laugh.
When we laugh, we cough. So, okay, so one of the things that I engaged the husband with was like, darling, in 18-something, they would be burning, middle-class people would be burning wood, right? They wouldn't be burning coal. And he was like, yes. And what colour is the smoke? So he was like, about grey. I was like, so there's not going to be white. So I did a grey smoke, which I was going to change. I was going to do black, but that's more coal,
I like the grey. I think the grey's awesome.
But the grey is more authentic. Also, you all know me now. I couldn't be bothered to follow the pattern for the smoke. So I was like, this looks right, that looks right, that looks right. You know, it's all a suggestion.
It's all good.
Then, of course, I have my fully inclusive pride flag.
Woohoo.
Well, fully as we understand it now.
Yeah.
So it's got
Because that has
black,
got its
brown.
own name, doesn't it? There's the pride flag, which is the straight rainbow. And then what's the one that includes the trains and the...
I don't know. I'm going to call it a fully inclusive because that's what I know at the moment. So
We'll look that up.
black, brown, purple, orange, yellow, something, which I've forgotten. An old lady look.
Purple, blue, green,
There's
yellow, orange,
purple
pink.
and blue. Yeah, and green. Yeah.
Or red.
I did ask Max, and they explained what the different colours is because we are very good at googling in our office. Anyway, I think these are. I've forgotten the word that I was going to say. What sort of flowers are these?
Carnations?
Carnations. I'm not a fan of carnations in real life. They're like my least favourite flower to receive. I never receive flowers, by the way. But if Martin was moved, which he won't. But I love them in cross stitch. They're so beautiful. But I decided that carnations have a more colourful centre. So I did one colour in the centre and then another one outside. Don't ask me the numbers because me. So they're different colours. This is actually a lot more garish in real life.
It is actually looking quite subdued on the film.
Oh my god, this is really tacky, Catherine. Thanks. Anyway.
It's gorgeous.
Kim from Cataloguing My Stitches was like, they're definitely romances because there was a lot of pink. Anyway, so the bird was a different colour. I was trying to balance the colours. I didn't want to be like just pinks here and stuff, so I was trying to get a balance across the spaces. The other thing that I did is I didn't like the house. Can I have the photo? I didn't like that the windows of the house were dark inside, so nighttime supposedly.
Yeah.
So can you see that they're dark here? And I kept mine clear. I still did the division, so they are a Georgian window. Well, are they a Georgian window? They're not a Georgian window, but anyway. But yeah, so I kept that clear. Even though, for those eagle-eyed, that they're dark here. But I decided that attics are dark. That's where the servants lived back in the day.
Yeah, they wouldn't allow candles.
They would not have, they would not have been there. They would have been working still at night time. They just go upstairs to sleep. So this would have been dark, I reckon. Even in the day. It was not a fancy situation.
You're
See,
justifying
can you, all the overthinking I did over this, it was great. I had the best time. And yeah, I don't need to justify it. It was all whatevs. Oh yeah, I think that, so I'll change it. So she's got her tankard, as we established. Tankard of tea. What else? Oh, the other thing is I left the date out because I just got in my head about it. First I was going to change it to Spanish, then I thought that wasn't authentic because Jane Austen was not bilingual. And then I was going to change the year, and I was going to put this year, and then I thought, well, what are you playing at, Catherine? There's a lady with a big dress. It is clearly not 2021. And then I thought, I'm just leaving it out. So I'm leaving it out.
You could put a wee motif or something on there.
maybe. Oh yes. Oh no, I didn't buy the frame. Yeah. So I don't know. And the other thing as well is that, remember how I was going to make her olive skinned, and then I got lazy. And then the night I finished it, I watched a Flosstube. I'm going to give her a shout out 'cause she was great. They were great. And they were talking about representation, how important it all is. And I was like, you're so right. I have to redo this.
So you're going to unpick her? And...
and I was thinking in my head, in my lazy head, I was like, I wonder if I can make really weak coffee and just paint it on. So anyway, I am very pleased with this. I'm not even sure this is me. I think the truth about me is that I love seeing these sort of old-fashioned things. I really admire them in museums. And then I forget the memo that I actually don't want to stitch them. I'm more of a contemporary person. Anyway, I did enjoy it. It's very cute. But I think I like the story of how I butchered it more than anything else.
You didn't butcher it. You just tweaked it. It's gorgeous.
She was I was born in Iquitos, which is a part of the jungle in Peru, and there are ideas about what people from the jungle are like in Peru. So everybody was like, "Oh, you're from there? Oh, yeah." You know, a very hot country. So people dress in hot colours. They like to dance, all that sort of thing. So you know, I was channeling that.
Love the pink door.
Oh yeah, and the pink door is because my front door is shocking pink. Of course. Okay, that's enough, isn't it? So I just kept the phrase in English. And Victoria thought I'd changed some of the words, so I think I might have misspelled something.
No, you haven't.
Sure.
I think it was just for some reason, I mean, it's called Mrs. Bingley's Library, and for some reason I thought the words Mrs. Bingley was in the sentence. It's not.
Oh, yeah, and in my head, I thought there was a dash somewhere, and there is not. In Spanish, you would put a dash if you were splitting a word. Mm. Or at least you were taught to when I was in school.
Oh, if it doesn't all fit on the line.
Yeah, you would put a dash, and there isn't a dash. So maybe I thought, ooh, there is no dash. Yes. So I don't know. Anyway, it's very lovely. I'm very happy. The designer is a very clever cookie.
I'm super pleased to be inheriting that pattern.
And thank you to Kim from Cataloguing My Stitches for letting us know about her mistakes so I didn't have to make it. And now it's in my brain, because when I was doing the house, which she hadn't done yet, I was like, do lines, Catherine, just do lines. Don't mess this up. Even though I use factory flosses, like Molino or DMC. Anyway, I think I've said enough about this.
It's done. Good job.
Yeah. What about you? Any FOs?
No FOs. But we'll do progress.
Yes.
I must admit I've been a bit short on the progress as well, but what have I been working on? I have been working on my Red House sampler by the Sampler Company.
Which is beautiful. Beautiful packaging. Beautifully put together projects.
Lovely put together. You can see on this one, you can see the fold lines coming through, which is why
because you don't have a roll.
I don't have a roll yet. Watch this space. So I think I've done both bouquets of flowers and the red tree up the top in the middle since we were last looking at this one.
I'll hold it and you can point at things.
Yeah, so this pink one, that blue one, and that I think are new. Oh, and that line across there. This I did twice because I put it in the wrong place and then I couldn't live with it, so I had to unpick the whole thing and restitch it.
So when you say the wrong place, how many stitches off?
1.
Don't you just love people like Victoria?
No, it was annoying me, and I shouldn't stitch when I'm feeling poorly.
You would, yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah.
The text and mine took forever because I was not well. You could not have lived with a stitch over.
I couldn't have stitched, not with this one when it's so, like there's so much more to do. It would have just stuffed everything up for me, so I unpicked it. Or frogged it. What does frogging mean?
Hang on. Rip it.
Rip it, thank you.
They do it in knitting. I've just thought, wouldn't it be hilarious if someone did an MRI scan of you and I when we make a mistake and what our brains do? And my brain's going like, Catherine. So if there are any scientists out there in Dunedin and they're doing research at Otago University and they want
we'd be
MRI,
great.
Really different personalities, please give us a call.
But I'm super pleased with how this one's coming along. It's a nice stitch. It's not a huge amount of changing colours for each of these motifs, so you get a big chunk done and you're not constantly changing.
Yeah, and don't forget that little halo, will be putting notes at the bottom of the the videos now. So
Yeah.
I'll add what, the colour she's used, if it's called for. And
Oh, this
all
is
that.
called for DMC. Straight out of the box.
Yeah.
On
Oh, DMC?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
called for DMC on this. And the white, I don't know what it is. This was a bit of old linen that I had left over.
Yeah. But I like that you actually have a range of colours, that brands that you're using. Great.
Yeah. Excellent. So
Very
that's what that one
lovely.
is. So do you want to show one?
I have made amazing progress on this last night. No. So this is, at some point I'll give up on the cards because they're getting a bit munted. So this is the Bristol Orphanage red alphabet sampler by Jane Greenoff, which is in that antique samplers book. I did half a star. I'm such a star. Actually, and this was really annoying because I was starting to stitch and then Martin came to bed and I was like, damn it, I always ignore him. He said, oh darling, shall we just have a little chat now? I'll put my embroidery away.
I bet he was thinking, crap, what have I done?
No, I think it's because he'd gone to work. I didn't go to work at all this week. I was that unwell. I share an office as well, so you don't want to be coughing on people. And it was so addictive, and I've got a whole row of them, and I was like, I really don't want to go to sleep. I want to embroider. But, I was a nice wife, and I paid attention. I actually visual contact, like eyeball to eyeball. Nothing else. But just one little star.
It's alright, that's progress.
Yeah, it's really great. It's really great. Enjoying it. And still with that floss, so I haven't lost this one.
You haven't lost this one, you're still on your third. Good job.
I'm so clever.
What else have I been working on? So, the second one that I've done quite a bit on is my Autumn Quaker by Rosewood Manor. So I'm not quite sure how, but I've done quite a bit of progress on this. I would say I am more than a third, but slightly less than halfway through this. And I'm just loving it. Every time I do a wee bit more, I love it even more. Close up.
It is lovely. You can actually, every time you look at it, you see new things.
You see something new. Yeah, and it's actually, I've been a bit on and off with stitching this one, but at the moment, I'm loving it. So.
It's all psychological, isn't it?
It really is.
When you pick it up, you enjoy it, but it's like, oh, I don't want to do that one.
Yeah. I think the one I started with, which might have been this one, had so many colour changes in it. I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? But no, they've all settled down a bit.
I do have to say, this is beautiful, but I do have to say, if you didn't want to do it with so many colour changes, you could actually use a variegated thread throughout.
You could do it all in one
just work itself out.
Yep. You could absolutely. I'm just following the pattern.
It would look good monochromatic as well, but you could do one of those that are not like 3 stitch repeats, but maybe something that's like 20 stitch repeats, and then it changes to a different colour. I think that would work really well.
It would. Have you done any work on?
I don't think I've got any more stitching.
Oh, all right. So do you have a new start?
No.
I have a new start. Well, it's one I've talked about for ages. So this is Winter Rose Manor by With Thy Needle and Thread. And Brenda Gervais. So you may recall I was going to do this with the leftover fabric from my Art Nouveau ABC.
I'm going to let the dog in.
But unfortunately, I had miscalculated and there wasn't enough fabric. So what I've started doing on that leftover thread is the pincushion. And I haven't done a lot. Because I was a bit thrown by the fact that I didn't have enough fabric left over. But I've got about 10 stitches on that. I'm not even sure which way's up.
So you didn't have enough fabric on the other one?
Yeah, I didn't have enough left over.
You didn't have enough? This is tiny.
I know, so it must be a lot larger, or I miscalculated,
or
which
maybe
of
the
course
direction
is quite feasible.
Although it is a round thingy.
Yeah, so this should work. So that's where I'm at. So, plans for the next, week and a half, because we'll go back onto our Tuesday filming.
We need to do craft pantry. Is that after?
Do that after? Yeah.
Plans.
I
had plans earlier. I actually thought about plans and I can't think. I will continue with things.
Yeah, I'm about the same. I shall continue with things. Hopefully get more of that pincushion done.
Actually, that's not true. I've had a finish, so I reckon I can start something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got things queuing up.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh well, so that's plans. What the craft pantry? What have you bought?
Well,
Because you're not a shopper, but
I know, right? I bought something else. I'm so excited.
oh
about
yeah,
it.
and
I
then
will
you've
show
roped me into it's great.
What? What have I
Nothing.
roped you into?
Remember this great idea you had when you showed me this last week?
Oh yeah, yeah. Anyway, so shout out to a shop in Oamaru, which is called Enhance. So it actually has a very subtle entranceway. So my hubby and I were just walking down the road, minding our own business. I hadn't prepared him to go craft shopping, and I was like, "Oh, that looks like wool. Oh, let's go in." And they sold wool and lots of different sorts of embroidery. So they had Appleton's wool for embroidery. They had I've forgotten not DMC, but the anchor threads. They had linens as well, which was great, and they had books. And it's really funny because I've been thinking of getting the Royal Society of Needlework, the RSN satin stitch book of flowers. It's very beautiful. And if it had a peony in it, I would buy it. So if anybody has a recommendation for a satin stitch tutorial book that has a peony and a magnolia, I'm definitely going to do more embroidery. I need to do more embroidery because I embroider, but it's not I write with embroidery. I want to do like satin stitch, silk painting with no rules. So I don't want to follow the rules. Anyway, I saw this and I was like, I love it. I've got to have it. And it was a new book. And apparently the second one has come out. So I have seen the second cover, but I think this is more beautiful. So I'm really glad that I don't want the other one because it is not cheap. Okay, so 41 minutes. Okay, so one of the things you should know about that, I pick my friends on the basis of they will say yes to me.
They're enablers.
So I'm like, Victoria, I bought this book. It's amazing. Let's do our own craft retreat. We're going to do one of these each. It's going to be fabulous. And Victoria's like, okay. Quite enthusiastically. It has a series of... So this is the work of a lady called Betsy Morgan, who's American, and I had not heard of her. I may have seen her work, but I had not heard of her. So these are a series of etui. So you have little sets of things, and there's like a little house. Oh my God, look, no, this is the wrong page because it's not the colour stuff.
Front half is coloured.
Yeah. So some of the stuff is just so beautiful. One looks like a book, but you open it and it's got all the bits and bobs inside. Just gorgeous. So of course, I'm interested in that because, libraries. So what I said, because I bought it, I drooled all over it for a couple of days. Then I was going to Wellington, so I gave it to Victoria and said, have a look through, see what gets you excited. And so we're going to create our own little craft weekend.
Yeah, we'll just do one each.
Potentially go, because we've been talking about going to Quarantine Island, which is just in front of Port Chalmers. You can rent that place. And we can do our own, not very flash, but fun weekend away and get started with this.
Yes.
With a view to finish it. I think I want to do the cover one. I
cover
think the
one
cover
is
one is so
gorgeous.
beautiful. That'll be the first one I do. My kids are going to inherit all sorts of things they don't want. Like, oh, great. Christina, if I take 6 of these, can you take 12 quilts, please? Your house is bigger than mine. Really beautiful. I think this is the sort of book. It wasn't a ton of money. Okay, it was $60, New Zealand. That counts as a lot when you're an op shopper. I think this is a beautiful coffee table book.
It's stunning.
I don't mind buying books at this price because I get the visual joy from them. They feed my soul and I learn from them, and I will learn from these for years to come. Even when they become, there'll be new fashions of how we display things. And these might become, a bit not fancy looking. They get old-fashioned, like some of those old-fashioned books. They were trendy ones. They were cool. The covers were cool. But I still think, it'll be years before I think that this is not to be on the top of my coffee table stack.
Yeah,
I
it's
just think
gorgeous.
it's so beautiful. So if you see one in your needle shop, I recommend you get it. I just think it's amazing. Very beautiful. Really good illustrations. They're actually quite little. The projects are little. Get it done before you are older than me. Because you might start with that counted cross stitch and end with uncounted cross stitch. Look at that. Look at the little book. So beautiful. I wonder if Stitch Witches has this book. Because they have the second one.
Yeah, possibly they do.
Yeah. Stitch Witches have some really lovely cross stitch books that I have resisted. Not just cross stitch, embroidery as well. They have Chloe Giordano. They have the RSN books. Anyway, this was great. So we'll keep you posted as to our little 2-person retreat.
Yeah, we get away.
So that is in Hans in Oamaru.
So I think that is the end of the cross stitch section.
Well, yeah. When do we do shout outs?
You can do it now if you want.
Okay, so
Winging it.
I came across. So I watch Daybreak Stitchery. I think that's what it's called. We gave them a shout out earlier last week, I think, or the week before. So they're great. And then they talked about Veggiesitches with Carlie. And unbeknownst to me, sorry, it just sounds weird with my beautiful nasal cadence today. She had given us a shout out.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened because I thought I'd watched all her episodes and I hadn't. I'd only watched half. And then the following one, she had shouted us out. And I really enjoy her style. She's a younger than me person. And I really like that about the cross-stitch community. It goes across generations, so that's really cool. And I don't know what Victoria does with her time, but she doesn't watch as much Flosstube as I do.
I don't.
And I also like that I'm watching people that are different to me. I don't want to watch like replicas of Catherine. I watch lots of different sorts of people. So she's cool. She's younger. She does cross stitch. She comes from a very crafty family. So, and they're very lovely because they talk about, oh, my mum made me this and it's so beautiful. And I'm like, oh, I hope my babies will be like that. So she's called Carlie and her Flosstube is called Veggiesitches. I'm not sure where she's based, but she's in America. I'm not sure what city. She probably told me. She probably told us. I probably forgot. But she's great. So this little bit, it was kind of, I wanted to send you to watch her because she's great. And not a beginner stitcher. She described herself as a beginner stitcher, but she's not. But she's kind of becoming more adventurous, I think, in what she does. But from the first Flosstube, she's kind of been saying things like, I'm not a quilter and I'm never going to be. And then she continues talking about quilting. So I think she's going to be a quilter. So I'm sending her quilty vibes. So I wanted to say, go and look up, if you have a library, they might have a book called Improv Quilting by Sherri Lynne Wood. Because quilting is all sorts of things. As long as there are 3 layers, it's called quilting. And even when you go to the Pacific Islands, in Rarotonga, they only use 2 layers because it's a hot country. But supposedly 3 layers, so top, bottom, sandwich filler. That's a quilt. So the top layer can just be a sheet, a blank sheet. It doesn't have to be pieced. So I think maybe I sense that you want to quilt, and I'm just here to tell you that quilting is anything you want it to be. It's going to be as complicated as you want it to be.
Or as simple.
Victoria's stuck on a very complicated quilt.
Yeah, which is why I haven't done any quilting in like 3 years.
Yeah, and also sometimes people are put off by the machine element.
Yeah.
You know, I hand quilt everything. I do everything by hand. So if the idea of hand quilting puts you off, machine quilt.
Yeah.
And if the idea of machine quilting puts you off, hand quilt. If you want to do a bit of everything, that's fine.
Yeah.
So just give it a go.
Yeah.
I'm planning to film a little, I'm planning to start my quilting videos, and I want to show my quilts, and I want to show people how it's not about meeting the corners. It's not about the corners meeting unless you want them to meet.
Yeah.
Imperfection is beautiful.
Absolutely.
So that quilter, Sherri Lynne Wood's amazing and very enabling. So there was also, so I'm talking more.
Oh, we're fine.
There was also a woman on the Instawebs that I came across. She's called, her handle is Kira Elliott Art. And so she is already an artist. And she does a lot of Instagram videos. She's really great. I really enjoy what she does. And she was saying that she grew up in a household, I think what she was saying is that she grew up in a household where she was told she couldn't sew. She was never going to sew. She couldn't sew. But she also knew that she didn't want to measure. She was like, I don't want to measure. I want to quilt, but I don't want to measure. And then she came across Sherri Lynn Wood, and then she came across Zach Foster, and she was like, and then she had this really funny video. She was like, I'm so freaking excited. That's what she was saying. She was like, I cannot believe it. And I think in a day she made like 50% of a quilt.
Wow.
And it's just like this, you know, random improv style piecing. And this was someone that, you know, the day before felt that she couldn't quilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's now actually hand quilting it.
Good on her.
Yeah, it's been like in a week she started hand quilting. Amazing.
Yeah.
So please feel enabled and then let me know. That'll make me happy. And I will put all the information in the link below. Okay, so on that note, my verbiage about what I'm doing, that is not cross stitch. Can I do my non-cross stitch?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Other crafts.
Okay.
I haven't got any, as usual.
Okay, so I finished in inverted commas, the quilt top for Christina for going away to university. But I think it's too narrow. So in my tradition of not measuring, I'm just going to add a band. So it's long enough for a king single, which is what they get in the university hall. And
Have you got a photo of this or laid it like that? No.
I'm gonna put it on the Instawebs. And I am gonna do videos because I'm quite passionate about my quilting. And I'm trying to find videos of someone that quilts like me so that I can have a friend. And there isn't anybody that I have met that quilts like me. So I'm gonna do a video and maybe they'll find me and then we'll be friends. So anyway.
This is gorgeous. And you must be so pleased.
Yeah, and it's exactly what I wanted. It you know, things don't meet in the corners. It's a bit higgledy-piggledy. So I'm excited. So this is what I've finished. So it's the width of the bed is this. So I'm going to make it a tiny little bit wider. And I'm going to do that by doing a thick band on either side. But I'm probably going to make it asymmetrical. So this band might be this wide and on the other side it might be this wide. Because I don't like things to sit too symmetrically. That's weird. Symmetry. So I'm very happy with this. And then, and of course, it's such a delight to hand quilt because then I always remember Victoria saying, Catherine, if you hand quilt, you'll, what did you say?
I said, oh, it'll take you like 2 years to do a quilt, Catherine, if you hand quilt the top.
No, even if you hand piece.
If you hand piece. Yeah, so when I do my quilting, I have always machine pieced the top and then I've hand quilted all the or hand stitched all the layers together. Yeah, this is how I do it. This is why it might take ages.
Sounds like felting.
And then
so
Catherine promptly turned around and produced a quilt in what, like 6 weeks?
Maybe not as much as fast as that, but I carry my projects. I don't leave the house without a project.
Yeah.
I did leave the house. Oh my God, have I shown my basket of delight?
No, I don't think you have shown your basket.
So I don't leave the house without a project. But the other day I walked Martin to have his vaccine. I was like, it was like a vaccine date. We're that cheap. And I didn't have a project. And then they made him wait for 20 minutes. So I was like, oh my God. And Martin said, because he's a good op shop husband, he said, why don't you go to the op shop? And I was like, oh, the universe is telling me to go to the op shop. And I found this. Okay, so you have to talk
Where
now.
is it? Oh,
it's in my bedroom.
Talk for 20 minutes. Oh, so you're just going to walk away for 20 minutes and leave me here. Hi, everyone. Catherine's walked off. How are you all? So, as Catherine...
You can talk about me.
Yeah, we'll talk about Catherine behind her back. So, as Catherine said, we have both had our first, or well, Catherine's about to have her first and I've had mine, COVID vaccine shot. So, great. Looking forward to hopefully things opening up a bit more and doing a bit of travel, but we'll see.
Yes, I had to postpone my vaccine. I phoned the helpline and they said, postpone it. And they said, do you want to postpone for 2 weeks? And I said, no, I think a week's fine. I introduce you to my basket of delight. So Carol, all the flosses.
Isn't it gorgeous? And where's your cover? Have we lost it?
Oh my God.
What's there?
And yes, and so I was copying that lady that I saw on the Instagrams. You can all be jealous. In a good way, like the good jealousy.
How cool is that?
It's like, are those eggs? Well, no. I am so happy. The basket of delight.
And how much did that basket cost you, Catherine?
Well, Victoria, it cost me $1.
It's crazy because quite often you go into shops, secondhand shops, and the baskets are there for display purposes, so they're not for sale. They've got goods they want to sell in them.
Yes. And I did say to the lady, I said, is this for sale? There's a sticker in it, but is it a mistake? And she said, no, if there's a sticker, it's for sale. I was like, okay. And I ran to the checkout. Oh no, then I ran and I didn't have my wallet. So oh my God, that was such a cute outing to the op shop. So if you might be cross-stitchers that watch us in Dunedin, in the St. Vincent de Paul. St. Vincent de Paul is hit and miss, but when it's good, it's amazing. I had my big hair, and then we spent 10 minutes talking about my amazing hair, and I was like, oh no, and I don't use shampoo, and I don't use conditioner. I said, oh, how do you rinse it? Do you have a big comb? I was like, no, I don't use a big comb. It was like detailed conversation. It was so good. They were older ladies, and one of them had a friend that had curly hair, and so she wanted to pass on the things, because she was like, your hair looks amazing. Not so amazing today, you know.
We've been painting.
Whatever. But it was really funny. So we had this bonding thing where I was like, my ego got stroked because my hair looked amazing, and then I reached into my bag for my wallet and I didn't have it. Like, so that was sweet. And I said, I'm going to walk back with my husband in 20 minutes. Please save the basket of delight for me. And they did. $1.
Nice bargain.
Actually, now I'm thinking maybe I should have offered more.
I'm surprised they didn't just say, take it. Take it, Mary.
It's an op shop.
Yeah, but
for charity.
Then yes, you should definitely have offered more.
Op shops are getting expensive though, which I don't like. So anyway, isn't this amazing? This brings me so much happiness.
It's so beautiful.
I am like the cheapest date. Like my $1 basket.
And then your $60 book.
Oh yeah, you ruined the effect.
Because you're not a shopper, but
all the F's. You're just jealous.
I'm very jealous. Your basket is beautiful.
My basket is beautiful. And I have another one, but it's smaller. And so this is great. Oh my God, I have nesting already. I just need a third bigger size. Anyway, thank you, Carol. I love it. This was my vision. When I opened the bag and there were all these flosses, this was my vision. And then, like the day after, I was able to achieve it. Life is good.
Yeah. Perfect. That's it, isn't it? We have, because as we said, we've both been
You have the list, other crafts, yes.
Other crafts, we're done.
Yes. I'm doing spinning.
Yes.
I'm going to go to felt prints. Oh, I said that last time. Yeah. I didn't go yesterday because you don't want to take your coughing. This is not COVID, but you don't want to take your coughing to a public space because people don't like it. Yeah. Quite rightly, they get nervous. So I didn't.
Yeah.
So yes. Actually, this is not bad. 58 minutes. And
we're under an hour. We haven't done under an hour since like episode 3, so this is quite good.
Yeah, we've got a minute and a half to continue that.
Sorry. I'm snorting a minute.
Oh, so funny.
Oh.
Yeah, so we had a great day today. We did painting, then we did 3:30 in the afternoon lunch.
Oh.
Where did we go?
We went to Vogel Street Kitchen. It was beautiful. Had a sandwich and a pizza.
Yes, we shared. We did sharesies. So that was fun. Because it seems like we haven't hung out much because life got grown up.
We got busy there for like 2 weeks and it's not good.
Yes. But my youngest, Christina, she's really not interested in her mum at the moment. So I kind of feel like I'm not being a bad mummy by not being around. I'm giving her space. Yeah. Which means that I'm taking her space.
She could have come up and given us a hand to do some painting.
She's never been interested. I'm not into forcing her to do stuff like that because it's my house. So I'm into forcing you.
Yeah. It's alright. I plan to have plenty of craft retreats.
Yes, we're going to have craft retreats in our house.
We'll have to film a YouTube video there too.
Yes, as soon as the house is approved, we can use the fire, which means I'm willing to go.
Excellent.
I think it's going to be too hot with the fire, but I want it to look cute. So.
Joey tour.
Yes. So I think,
Excellent.
oh no,
Oh, she's got more.
sorry, I've got more.
We've
1
lulled you
hour,
into a
I've
false
broken
sense of
through
security that we're going to finish
I can't do
early.
it in 10 seconds. So I was really ill. I was so ill. I couldn't think. It was just a cold, but a bad one.
Head cold.
I couldn't think. And then on Wednesday, I was like, on Wednesday afternoon, I was like, I'm starting to feel better. So I quilted like a numpty. So this quilt that I had shown you before, I've almost finished hand quilting it.
This is your Irish train?
My almost Irish chain.
Almost Irish.
So this is what I mean. You know, I don't want to have a full Irish chain quilt. I think they're beautiful. I was looking at Denise Smith's book the other day when she has one, but you know, that whole thing gets boring to me. So I get to a point and I'm like, nah, I'm just putting a strip of fabric
Along the top, this beautiful mustardy colour.
So no lines, no marking, just straightish lines diagonally. But now that I've stopped, so I did 2 days of quilting. I was a bit tired and I had to stop because my finger and thumb hurt because I don't like thimbles because I don't garden with gloves and I don't quilt with
Do you not
protection.
garden with gloves? I garden with
No.
gloves.
I like to feel the earth. And
I
place
don't.
it.
I'm like, ooh, nature.
No. I like to feel the soil. So now that I've stopped, for example, here, now that I can see all my diagonal lines, I was like, oh, these ones will be all wavy. So I'm gonna get my, you know, those pens that disappear when you iron or whatever.
Invisible,
Or
I don't know,
with
fading
wear.
it.
Yeah. So I'll do squiggles and I'll do that.
Nice.
Very happy with this indeed. And I used, I think, 6 different shades of green and 2 different shades of pink. One quite a hot pink and
Oh, there's some pink, yeah.
yeah. And so this fabric is from a bed sheet that Christina used. And I had a skirt made with this bed sheet from the op shop. We've used these as bed sheets from the op shop. Isn't that beautiful? I love these. They're
Gorgeous.
so lovely.
And I wanted to draw your attention to this stuff. I think that is gorgeous. This is on the back,
Oh.
I think.
Yeah, maybe. So that was a blouse from the op shop, and when I brought it here, it reminded me. See, I love Liberty fabrics. Liberty.
Gorgeous.
I'm not going to buy Liberty fabrics. Well, I'm not going to buy new Liberty fabrics. Oh, by the way, in that op shop in Geraldine, beautiful Geraldine Liberty looking fabrics, like little offcuts that someone that used to quilt donated, and lovely little bits of wool. It cost me $1 each bundle. It was so cute.
This op shop in Geraldine, is that where you got the willow pattern tablecloth?
No, I got this in
Or was that at St Vincent de Paul's as well?
no, that was near the charge station where we park my car when we're charging it,
Oh,
which is the is it the hospice one?
Hospice
or the
shop,
Red
yeah.
Cross?
I think it's
On
hospice.
Bond Street. That's an amazing op shop. We didn't find anything that day. Anyway, I came home with this blouse. That was a tangent, by the way, the Geraldine thing. I was talking about this. So I came with this blouse, and whenever I go up shopping, I choose things for the fabric, and then I show Christina and Martin, like, do you want this blouse? Do you want this shirt? And Christina looked at me and she said, Mom, that looks like... I'm not going to say what she said, but not for something her age.
Did she cast aspersions on the age
like,
of the person?
Ew, Mom, that's like for people like your age. And older is what she meant. I thought this was so beautiful. Possibly silk. I don't know. It kind of, I think it might be silk.
Does actually.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to be less rigid in my choices of fabric. So usually it's been 100% cotton. In the past, I've also mixed in a bit of linen because I have a good friend that buys mostly linen. She has an eye for linen. She buys it in the op shops. When she's had enough of them, she passes them to me. I use them. But now, not this one, but another quilt has got 50-50 poly cotton. Because I figure then it doesn't go to the
landfill.
Yeah. Landfill. So I'm saving it from the landfill. And because it's got the 50 cotton, it will last well. This does not need to last 300 years. That was another thing that Carlie said that was cool, and I was like, we're the same people, Carlie. She said that she hoped that when she dies, all her crafts can compost.
Oh.
Like it's all natural materials. He also uses natural materials. So it'll just compost. Like all my stuff will compost. Anyway, please don't compost my stuff. Wait a
Your
generation.
children must look after them.
Yeah,
Yep.
wait a generation, please.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love this size. So I just cut up that. I mean, the blouse was like a size 10. I am not a size 10. So I cut it up. And I think it's like a little sneaky prettiness.
It's lovely.
Yeah. And there's a must. And the other thing that I like to do is I like to have fabrics that are in various quilts. So one quilt that we use a lot in our bed has a stretch of this delightful mustard. So anyway, so all that to say, wonk is fine. Everybody can quilt. And this will probably, will not be finished next time because it's about 8
We're
days.
awakened. Yeah, there'll be very little progress, I think. in
Yeah, there will be
this.
levels or not.
Who knows?
But I'm 75% complete on the quilting on this quilt.
Wow. So you may have it done.
Yeah.
I no longer doubt the time frames that you can complete projects in.
Speedy Catherine. I will ignore my house. I cook for my family, but less and less as they get old, you know. And I'm doing one pot week, like one pot for the
meals,
week.
yep.
So that gives us 2 meals plus lunches if people want it.
Nice.
Take away 1 day a week. Yeah. So yeah, and apart from cooking, I feel perfectly entitled to not do anything house related. So, you know, I can, even after work, it's not unusual for me to do 8 hours crafting every day.
Oh, I wish.
I am a little bit obsessed.
I get home at sort of 6 o'clock, so craft out 6:37, and then craft finishes at 9. So I just do a couple of hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then I can read for a couple of hours and go to sleep.
See, I'm home by 5.
Yeah.
How many hours is that? I don't get to sleep before 12.
Yeah. Well, I don't usually either, but I like to read, so.
Yeah, I struggle with that. Audiobooks is my thing. Yeah. I'll talk about audiobooks.
I
next
just
time.
don't think bodice rippers really come off that well in audio book form.
How awkward is that? In fact, was it the fat squirrel? Was it the fat squirrel? Some podcaster or no, it wasn't Flosstube, it was from before. She was saying that she listened to romance on audio, and I was like, no! Oh my God, don't do that. No, I couldn't do it.
They have recently listened to the BBC radio show of Lord of the Rings, which was quite good. I think it's ancient. They had Ian Holm reading for Bilbo and Frodo, so.
I don't know who Ian Holm is.
Oh.
Come to me for pop culture knowledge.
It's alright, we do a nice balanced quiz team. As long as Martin's there to answer like 90%.
God. If I wasn't married to that man, it would be really annoying. Yeah, quiz night is going well.
Yep.
We've got one more team member.
Yep.
I still can't contribute much, but I think I contributed one more question this time.
Yeah, we did. We all did really well last time.
Yeah. It's like our subscribers, you know?
Yeah.
2 more a fortnight.
It's great.
Like one more question right a fortnight, a month.
Oh.
Anyway, this has been fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for visiting with us.
Yes, and come again.
We'll
see you in 8 days.
Yes.
Hopefully.
We're that needy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Off to do Spanish now.
Bye.